Alright, so we have the Seek Outside Cimarron teepee with the large titanium stove. Pretty awesome. We finally got it set up. It took me a hot minute, and we got the fire going. We, put two sticks together and boom. Because Logan's a hell of a woodsman. He's been out in the woods since he could crawl. But we got the fire going, and
let's close this up.
Toasting it up in here. I'm gonna bring more firewood in.
Oh, it's gonna be.
And it's raining / sleeting now, which is really not cool. But I would rather snow. But it's gonna be toasty in here now.
It's already getting warm. A little smoky.
Yeah, it'll clear out. And you wanna?
Is that baffle moving?
No.
Oh wow.
You hear the difference in that?
That's roaring.
You hear the difference?
I wonder if they can hear that.
That's the thing. Seek Outside, for whatever reason, doesn't send it with like a spring loaded or whatever, so it stays taut. So what I do?
The baffle?
Yeah, the baffle. So what I do, get a stick. If you want to keep it open, and this stick is garbage, so it's not going to work. Oh, there. If you want to keep it open, it's kind of like
when you're starting it or something.
Yeah, rigging it, whatever, but check it out. Yeah. So I'm gonna go get some firewood out there, and we'll get back to it. So right now it is sleeting / ice stuff. That's what's coming down. And I've got some time before dark. I've got lots of firewood. It's burning pretty good in there, so I decided before I just chill out for hours, I'm gonna cut some more firewood. So figured, why not film it? This stuff is a few inches thick. So, in relation to my finger, gloved finger, pretty good. I could probably cut them a little longer, but I'm going to stick with this length. So the saw I'm using is a Sven saw, S-V-E-N. And it works really well. It's a longer saw. It's the largest one they make. I think it's 21-inch blade. All breaks down and fits into the red handle here. Pretty awesome. Highly, highly recommended. Gotta dry this stuff out because it's just straight ice that is falling from the sky currently. Got water boiling just for some humidity in here. It also warms it up. At least it feels like it does. This is great though. These pieces of wood right here, this is just the perfect size. Even bigger. This is like 1 3/4. Yeah, if you can find even bigger stuff, it's just perfect for this thing. With a large stove, now that I've owned it, I would not go any smaller than the large for the Cimarron teepee. And for anybody that was wondering, this is the Stephen Ambrose Undaunted Courage, Meriwether Lewis, Thomas Jefferson, The Opening of the American West. Definitely a great read, especially on a snowy, rainy day in the teepee. Very blessed. So cool, you can see the steam coming off the logs from drying. and getting sucked into the stove because of the draft. A few different things I've learned from hot tonning. A, you want to get out early. If you're going to set up your teepee and your stove, process firewood, you know, and before you do all that, you have to find a good spot. So you want to get out, get a good start early in the morning, as early as possible. Second thing, process a lot of firewood from the get-go before it gets kind of dark. It's getting there. I think I have enough. I think we should be okay. It's good to have, if you have a floorless teepee, you want to definitely have at least some sort of ground sheet to put underneath your sleeping pad. I've got a survival blanket. It's a thicker one. It's not like one of those chintzy, reflective ones. But you want to have some sort of ground tarp you can put down, and then put your sleeping pad on. And I personally like to have a Z-Lite thermarest, and then put my climate pad on top of that when I go to bed at night. Definitely bring some good fire starter, because it takes a bit to start the fire. We had some dry kindling that we brought along, so it helped out. I'm loving the stove. It's great. Drying out firewood, staying generally dry. In the teepee, the ground's wet, but I can still keep my boots on and move in and out of the teepee easily. I can dry my gloves out that I've gotten soaked like 4 times so far, splitting wood and just being out in the elements. Being able to sit here and read, which I usually don't do in the outdoors, but being in this teepee with the fire, it's just silent minus, the roar of the fire, the ice, rain stuff that's hitting, the titanium, and sizzling, hissing, and just the sound of the teepee getting hit with all the ice. It's very peaceful. It's very enjoyable. And I'm going to get back to it. Later tonight, we're going to have some Mountain House meals. One Mountain House meal. Do you hear that owl? I don't know if you guys can hear that over the wind. It's an old shelter we built a long time ago. Now it's just firewood. Here's the teepee. Pretty awesome. Highly recommend the Cimarron. Let me get back in the teepee where it's warm. It's probably having around 30 to 35, somewhere in there. Feels a lot colder though. It's very damp, very humid. So, just got back from outside. This coyote rough is awesome. So, if you have a wind cheater from Hill People Gear, you really need to get the coyote rough. next time it's in stock, which should be in the next, 1 to 4 years. I just filled the stove up a little bit ago, so it's cranking out some heat. And I'm about to get my headlamp out, but as you can see there. And again, that stick right there, you gotta make sure it doesn't catch fire. But it holds the flue, or the damper open for me, because I don't have a spring in there. My water's just about ready for food. So, that's pretty cool. There's some boiling water in my Mountain House meal. I think it's either lasagna or like chicken breast and mashed potatoes and stuff. So if you get a bunch of people, like I could probably fit, 3 more people could probably sit in here semi-comfortably on some thermarest pads and have a conversation around the fire, and you'd be pretty toasty. You'd be warm. So it's definitely cool for winter camping. A, because it's a hot tent, but B, you need something to do. In a regular tent, you get in your sleeping bag, or you sit around the fire outside and freeze. Kind of freeze, but then smoke's in your face, and it's just not as comfortable as being able to be in a shelter, out of the elements, by a heater. Chili mac with beef. It says sell by April of 2018. And it is 2019 currently. I've got some stuff that's like way older than that, like 3 years older, that I should have tried first, but I didn't really look at this date until like right now. But we're gonna test this puppy out. We're gonna see what the chili mac with beef tastes like right in about 10 minutes. Seal that up. And hopefully tastes good. In about 15 minutes. We'll get back with you then. Alright, this is it. Yummy. Chili mac with beef. What looks better than the MRE chili mac, which is pretty awesome for MREs as far as they go, but sorry. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna taste it real quick. See what I think, and I'll let you guys know. Looks like I put enough water in there, but not too much. Alright. Moment of truth. It's pretty awesome. Tastes like real food. Unlike the MREs. It's really good. Highly recommended. Chili mac with beef from Mountain House. Yeah, I'm ready to turn in. I'm gonna put some more logs in the fire again before I zip up and actually try to get some sleep. My bag is a 20-degree bag, and tomorrow by sunset it's supposed to be a little bit south of 20 degrees, so if it gets a little nippy, I do have my mountain serape I can throw on. But I am a little bit leery of putting that over my bag, because then part of it could flip over and then hit my stove. I don't know. I'm just being extra careful. But if I do get cold, I have that option. For gear, what I'm using. So I'm still wearing my mountain serape. I'm still wearing the Sitka Timberline pants. I just rolled up the part that's kind of dirty from today, so it's not getting all over my sleeping bag. I'm using a, what brand is this? Brooks Range Snooze 20-degree bag. long. The Thermarest Z-Lite sleeping pad with a climate pad over top of that. I have a casualty blanket underneath me as well. I'm using the, can't see it, but it's the Arrows pillow by Sea to Summit. I do like a pillow. It's more comfortable. And if you sleep better, you're going to have a better day the next day. So that's why I use that. That's pretty much it. As long as the teepee doesn't burn down, doesn't fall down, I don't freeze to death. I think those things. Or a pack of wild coyotes. Well, which kind of coyotes aren't wild? Pack of coyotes. Don't drag me off tonight. I'll see you in the morning. Rock on. Alright, so we have a situation report. It is now 2:25 in the morning. And my trekking poles slowly sank down. So my teepee was closing in on me. And we've got a semi-warm stove. The fire's not out. There's a bed of coals that I'm going to load up. But so step one, I got out of my sleeping bag, threw my boots on, got outside after I unstuck the zipper from being frozen. Then I cleared the ice because there's a lot of ice. Like, we're talking like almost a foot of ice covering the perimeter and, you know, kind of sinking that cone in. You know, all that weight. So that's the weight. Press the trekking poles down. So it was all sinking in. So I took all the ice off thinking, okay, now I can set up the trekking poles again. Well, that didn't work. The trekking poles are not, they're good, but they're only meant for lightweight backpacking in nice weather. You know, some wind, yeah, they can deal with that, but any weight with snow is not going to work. So, you know, what do? You improvise. What I decided to do was I cut down a tree, a small tree. It's like I don't know, probably that big around. And I estimated the length, and it was pretty close. It's a little canted to this canted. I don't even know right now. It's a little bit to the side at an angle. Just a little bit. And I had a box out here that we had our kindling in. So I tore off some of the box and put it up, you know, against the tip of the teepee. And then I put the tree there, which you should be able to kind of see it. So hopefully that doesn't tear. It's a really heavy-duty material. I think it's meant to be able to do this. I saw somebody do it on YouTube, which doesn't mean anything. But we're gonna try it, and it's really sturdy. So right now I am going to start a fire, get this place warmed up again, organize some stuff, get resituated, and get to bed by 3 a.m. That's the plan. While I was out there, I cut some firewood too. I cut some more firewood because I like, whatever, I'm up. I'm not going to want to do it in the morning. I'm going to need to. So we have a little bit more firewood. Crystals are falling. I think it's just from the teepee. I'm like, is there a gaping hole somewhere? That was one of my concerns. I'm like I told you guys, as long as the teepee doesn't burn down, collapse, which it did halfway, tree doesn't fall on me, or a pack of coyotes don't, you know, eat me, drag me off and eat me. I'll see you in the morning. Alright, so it is 10:30. What? And you're still in your sleeping bag. Yes, I am. took me a bit to get the fire going again, because the wood that I collected yesterday is obviously it was frozen and really wet, and I just ran out of kindling just now. So I split a few pieces of the other wood that I've got. And we've got a fire going now. It's just kind of weak. I'm gonna baby it a little bit, get it fired up. I'm gonna pack up my sleeping bag, and I'm gonna hang out here for a while though. So I don't have anything going on. It's Sunday. I'm gonna enjoy the teepee some more, the fire, drink some tea, probably, and then maybe pack it in. We'll see. It's supposed to get down to the low of -4 currently, so that could be really cool. Literally. We'll see. So, you might be wondering why I have this on inside the tent. I'm drying it out. It's a little damp from yesterday. Still, it's not completely dried out. And it's really warm up here, but not down here. And not behind me, so I'm wearing it. I look like a goon. Second point, the most important point at this very moment. See the stove? It's really hot. See this stuff? It all melts. So if you are considering buying a hot tent, this is a point that seems like intuitive, like, oh yeah, stuff melts and you gotta be careful. Well, it's really, really easy to accidentally touch the stove with your stuff. So just take that into consideration when you're buying, depending on what size you want, a teepee, what size stove you want, if you want a hot tent, because, you spend a lot of money on this stuff and then you put holes in it. Kind of sucks, but is it worth being warm and being able to dry stuff out? Personally, I think so, but it might not be for you. Something to think about. So I'm about to get out. I finally put my boots on, my Kenda tracks, and see that little hole there? Yeah, I'm gonna patch those, but I'm just about to get out of the tent, teepee, get some firewood. Got my saw there, got my gloves. I wasn't drinking, I promise. That was, that's what we put the kindling at. Here we go. Let's see what it looks like out here. Alright. Oh, she's smoking. It's a winter wonderland. It's about 15 degrees out. Beautiful. Just sawed up some more firewood. I'll try to dry it out. I got more behind me. I'm about to load up into right around the stove to dry out. I'm going to be out here as long as I can until I either run out of water, firewood, or the stove fills up with ashes and I've just got to stop with the fire to clean it out, and then I'll just pack up everything and go. Looks like a bomb went off in here. It's horrible. I'm a neat freak too, so it's kind of driving me nuts. We got a decent amount of snow, more than I thought we would, but I'm still nothing like what the weatherman said. There's no 10 inches of snow where I'm at. Loving the coyote fur ruff. It's good stuff. Good stuff. Alright, so it's the last day I've been out here, which is really only day 2, but I'm not. It's Sunday, so I've got to go home because I've got to make some money this week, unfortunately. So I'm just gonna let this burn, which is gonna take a while. But as soon as it burns out, that will be it. So I'm getting as much out of it as I can before I head out of here.
Got all my sleeping stuff packed up. Really, most of everything's packed in its containers, except for the cook set, which will take about 3 seconds to put away, and the teepee and tent, or the teepee and stove. That'll be the most difficult thing to put away, and the sun goes down early, so I'll probably be doing it in the dark, but not a big deal. Some of the gear that I've used that I really enjoy is obviously the teepee and the stove. It's made by Seek Outside. It's a large stove, and the Cimarron is the teepee model. I really like this Ontario Knife Company Rat 3, which you've seen in pictures. Really good blade. I'm not a blade connoisseur. It has this coating on it that's coming off because I've been beating the heck out of it. But I've had it for a few years. I want to say maybe 3 or 4. And I carry it everywhere. My other favorite brand is Essie. This knife has worked for me, so I haven't felt the need to buy another knife for the money, you know. But I really like the Ontario Knife Company Rat 3. The GSI Micro Duelist cook set. It's really great. The mug broke though. This is the outer mug and there's an inner mug. Or maybe the outer mug broke and this is the inner mug. But regardless, one of them cracked, so that sucks. So I'm probably gonna get a smaller titanium cup to nest inside that. I'm wearing my Kenetrek boots. I had to get the first pair I got replaced because of the threading. So this pair, we'll see what happens. Spent a lot of money. You know, I've never bought a pair of boots for that much money. But I've heard nothing but good things. But so far, I'm not. They're really comfortable when they're comfortable. But after I wear them for a while and the threading on the first pair, and so we'll see. Just my cheapo mechanics gloves work really well for working with the stove and setting it up because the titanium's sharp. But these canteens, these are the Nalgene canteens. They're made by Blackhawk. They say Blackhawk on them. They're made in America. They're lighter weight than a regular Nalgene, and they fit well in my Koya backpack by Help People Gear. I haven't used the Koya too much yet, so on an actual backpacking trip, so I haven't done a review yet for that reason. I will always have my Z-Seat sit pad. It's awesome. It's like it's been like a little desk for me, keeping my book and some different items off of the ground while I lay on my Climate sleeping pad. It's a insulated static V, I want to say. So far so good. This is the second time I've used it. I used it throughout my southwestern trip this year, start of the year, and then this. So far so good, but we'll see. But that's pretty much it. The Mountain House meals are really good. I really like the cereal bars, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal bars. Really, really good. I could eat like 15 of those. So they're a good snack for backpacking. Note, if you're going to use a Seek Outside teepee in the winter with lots of snow and ice, make sure you have the pole that they make. You know, take that hit, that another extra $100 onto the order. Get the pole, or if you're in an area where there's lots of trees, I found a tree. I know you don't cut trees down all the time. You should never do that. But if you could find something green that's fallen down, it was just kind of an emergency for me. It's either cut the small tree down or have the teepee cave in and burn. So I appreciate the tree. I'm just trying to think of anything else, any gear, anything I've used. Mountain House meals are great. I think I just said that, but the chili mac, really good. I really like the instant coffee by Folgers, and then the tea. I like different types of tea for, you know, different flavors. Keep it, you know, switched up. Really like this. It's one of my favorite pieces of gear. Coyote for a rough, for when the weather gets real nasty. It's awesome. I love it. The wind cheater, one of my favorite pieces of gear, hands down. Shoot, I'm just trying to make sure I didn't forget anything. I have some holes in my teepee. From where I'm sitting, I see 3. And I need to patch those as soon as possible. Just use the sealant that comes with the teepee. Patch it up, you're good to go. And I think that's it. You know, I've been running this for 7.5 minutes. I think we're going to call it that. So, if you have any questions about any gear. Oh, one more thing I didn't mention. The Sitka pants. Timberline. Awesome. Love them. Built-in knee pads. Waterproof seat, waterproof knees. Just comfortable. It's like you're wearing sweatpants, only you don't, you know, you look, it's, I guess, a little more high speed than sweatpants. And they've got the knees for when you're, you know, taking a knee and splitting firewood or doing batoning or starting a fire or whatever you're doing. It's really, really helpful. Really comfortable. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop the video here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for, you know, all the comments, the support, the likes that I get. I just, you know, I appreciate it. Makes it, you know, reassures me that I'm doing the right thing, you know, coming up with content and reviews, hikes that people enjoy and can get some knowledge so that they can be better prepared for whatever experiences you guys might have out in the woods, and so that you can buy gear that's good and not have to buy a bunch of crappy gear before you find the good stuff like I have. So thanks guys for the support, appreciate it. We'll see you next time. SRK Survival out.